Morning, boys and girls. What we have right here is an old beat to piss Husqvarna 365 special. I just picked this up the other day. This is the second, actually this is the third 365 special I have. The first one was a basket case. I've still got it. I mean, it's rebuildable and everything. I just haven't done it. Got all kinds of other stuff. Got it real cheap. I don't know, like $100, something like that. Which isn't real cheap for a basket case, to be honest. But the second one was the Husky 365 Extra Special, as I call it. And that is the full tilt race saw. It runs on gasoline, but it's still a full race saw. And now this one right here. I also have the John Sered 2165, which is the same saw, but in red. That thing is mint. And I think for now, at least, I'm going to leave that thing the way it is. This one right here is a runner that I just picked up at a pawn shop. Got it for 260 bucks. And it does fire up and run, and this is going to be the first time I ever put it in the wood. And I'm going to build this saw to compete at Sawfest. So let's see how she cuts. Maybe she's running out of gas. I mean, it ain't that low. Shouldn't be running out of gas. Shouldn't be. It's only 10,500 or something like that. Let's do that again. That was right at 13,000, like 13.2. We're going to leave it right there because it does have a bar and chain on it, a 24-inch bar and chain. And so that'll slow down the RPMs versus completely free revving. Free revving, these things seem to work best tuned at about 13.5-ish. But, you know, as a lot of people have said, going off of nothing but a tachometer is not the best way to tune your saw. You got to hear what it's doing and feel what it's doing in the wood. Not too bad. I think I need a little bit more low jet. Let's give it a little bit more fuel on the high side because it was dropping into the 9,000 RPM range on that. My guess is it's a little lean. All right, well, it dropping down all the way down to 9,200. So let's get over here in this log right here, do a test cut, and then we'll talk about why. One cut on this log right here. Okay, the very next cut on this log is going to be this saw with that bar and that chain untouched, modified. So this will be my first time building a 365 myself. I have ran them built before, obviously. And I do know the history of them. Basically, these things are awesome. Just the bore and stroke works. It just, I think, is probably the perfect bore and stroke combination. It's got a 34 millimeter stroke. No. It has a 36 millimeter stroke and a 48 millimeter bore. Is that right? Yes, I do believe that's right. It has a 36 millimeter stroke and a 48 millimeter bore. Whereas the 266 had 34 millimeter stroke and 50 millimeter bore. So anyways, whatever. The transfer ports on these are pretty considerably smaller than the transfer ports on a 372, which means you got a lot more velocity going through there, which means they create higher RPM. They build their power in a higher RPM range. Does that mean, do they make more power? Not exactly. They actually, what it is they just make their power in a sweeter spot whenever it comes to timed cuts. And so, like this one right here, it's pretty old, pretty worn out. Over there, I was dropping all the way down to 9,200 RPMs, which is ridiculously slow for this thing. So we should be able to see extremely significant changes whenever we port it. But you know, it's tired, it's worn out, maybe has an air leak here and there. Who knows? But we're going to go ahead and from this point on just modify it and see how much of a difference we made. We already got our timed cut right there, and hopefully I'll be able to really turn this thing up. But here's the thing, between it and the 372 XP, if I run this in wood like this, it's highly likely, all right, because that's big. That took up every inch of that 24-inch bar, okay, and it's red oak. So this saw in perfect condition versus a 372 XP original edition in excellent condition, the 372 will probably beat it. But whenever it comes to smaller wood, like 20 inches and under, something where you can run a 20-inch bar, things like that, or even a 24-inch bar, but less mass, then it's likely that this will outperform the 372, which is bigger and more powerful. So how is it beating something that's bigger and more powerful? Well, this thing makes its power at a higher RPM range. And so as long as you can keep it in that range, it's going to be faster. Now, whenever you get to bigger wood, you fall out of that range. You come out of it. And so the 372 is going to outperform it in the bigger wood. And it doesn't have to be huge wood. Like this right here, a lot of people wouldn't even consider this big wood. I definitely would. I'm sure there's a lot of YouTubers out there that suffer with small wood syndrome, and they would consider this very big wood, I'm assuming. But either way, it is sizable, and so when you get into stuff like this, that's whenever the 365 is going to lose its edge over the 372 and the 372 XPW, which is the 75-ish cc saw or something like that, you know. But anyways, if you're in smaller wood, these do tend to outperform their bigger brothers. So hopefully when we build this up, it'll really be awesome, and we'll have a good little race saw here. With SawFest this year, they're changing the categories. The small saws, you still got 54 cc's. You can go up to 54, but it used to go up with the 60 cc. It would go to 64 cc's, and that right there is I like that category. Don't get me wrong, I understand why they changed. I really do, but I like it whenever it stopped at 64 because that immediately excluded this saw. Well, now that it's at 65 cc's, this saw can compete, which means, in my opinion, if you are showing up to race at SawFest in the 65 cc category, if you have anything other than this, then you are just looking for second place. One of these saws is going to win first place in the 65 cc category at SawFest. I am certain of it. It's either going to be a 365 special, possibly a Poland 415, 425. They're different saws, but they have a similar build quality, all right? Also possible is, of course, the Johnson Red 2165, but also a possible nod goes to Dolmar and their, I think it's the 6400. That you could really spice that up and get it to produce really good power. But in that category, this right here is probably going to walk away with the win. Not mine, I'm saying this model. Hopefully mine will, I don't know. But like there'll be some people showing up with some 562 XPs that are built, you know. But I bet you they won't be able to, they just won't be able to hang with one of these. They just won't be able to do it because their computers limit them. And if you are getting rid of your computer and stuff, then it's probably no longer a firewood saw at that point. And so with SawFest having their categories the way that they do, and the whole event is a firewood saw competition, that eliminates real race saws. And if you eliminate real race saws, then there's only one thing, man. I don't know, the Dolmar is really nice too. The Dolmar, I think it's a 6400. That might be able to take the category. I don't know if Solo has a version of the Dolmar. But anyways, it's pointless. I'm getting into rambling territory and stuff. But it'll be hard to beat these. I know that steel probably doesn't have anything that can hang with these if it's built to the same level kind of thing. Like the 361 produces good power, and it produces really good power whenever it's built. But build this on the same level as that 361 that you just built, this will beat it. But anyways, we'll see how it goes. And I have high hopes.